am a nurse, a coach, and a recovered binge eater.
For many years, I struggled with anxiety, depression, and PTSD.
Asian Americans, especially teens and young adults, have the highest suicide rate in the US.
So many of us go through depression, anxiety, and other mental health issues, but each of us feels like we're the only ones.
It's important for the AAPI community to talk about mental health issues in order to break the model minority myth that our community does not have any problems.
Everyone struggles with it at some point in their lives, no matter who you are, what your ethnicity is, or what language you speak.
Many of us don't talk about mental health because it's shameful or it's taboo to do so in our culture.
But I know it's not easy to talk about the things that we're struggling with.
I felt really awkward and shamed about needing to seek out help.
Asians culturally have a deep stigma when it comes to mental health, and they often suffer in silence.
The silence and stigma are literally taking lives.
We need to talk about mental health as Asians because our lives depend on the healing that seeking help can provide.
Through mental health work, I realize my own queer and racial identities are ones that deserve to be loved and respected.
We need to learn to break our silence and discover this language that speaks to our internal suffering.
We need to share our voices, our resources, and our stories so that we can begin to change the conversation.
Having honest conversations about mental health issues can encourage other people to open up about their own experiences and begin their healing process.
If we start this conversation around mental health, you're choosing to create a community where everyone's feelings are valid.
I think it's so important to talk about ANHPI mental health, especially with our loved ones.
We must support and uplift, not ostracize each other for our struggles. Creating a judgment-free space for people who may be struggling is crucial.
I wonder, what would it have been like just to speak, to hear a little bit more about the struggle, about the pain, about what may be going on inside.
We're going through a pandemic, social unrest over racial injustices, and dealing with a federal government that's rolling back policies meant to protect marginalized groups, including the LGBTQ+ community.
There is an immense impact of racism on mental health, from the trauma that has passed down to multiple generations.
And racism is related to mental health problems such as depression and trauma that are common among many racial minority groups, including Black, Brown, and Asian.
It can be an essential in realizing the effect that anti-Blackness and systems of whiteness can have on our own well-being.
Black Lives Matter!
With the Black Lives Matter movement, we see that racism is not new, but the conversation, the cameras, the awareness. And this can take a mental toll on all of us, which is why we must be there to support each other and keep the conversation going about our mental health.
Mental health starts with knowing the best parts about you and getting intimate with the most shameful parts about you.
When you talk about your stories, others will resonate so you don't have to feel alone.
So I want to encourage you to reach out to a friend or a family member, especially right now if they're facing more isolation, and ask them how they're doing.
Bring it out into this world rather than keeping it buried within us.
It is your birthright to feel enough, whole, and worthy.
Because you are not alone, and your story will inspire others.
I dream that for my family. I dream that for my community. And I dream that for all of you.